Hey everybody, this is David, aka Chessman. Here today, want to get into openings some more. Um, I decided I need to come up with a game plan on how to learn the openings. I kind of got one, but I need a serious plan. So today, I'm gonna take a look and try to figure out a game plan. And I'm trying to look at it logically. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to be using chess.com and I'm going to be using 365chess.com as how I'm going to figure this out. First question is, um, again, there's so many openings. Trying to figure out in what order to learn them. I realize this endeavor is going to take probably years, so I'm fine with it. I'm fine with going in with a slow approach. I'm looking for accuracy. I'm looking for quality over speed. It's just going to take years, and that's just the way it is. But I want to formulate a really good plan where I'll be happy with how I'm playing my chess openings. Um, so first, I'm on 365chess.com, just in case you haven't seen it before. I'm in Opening Explorer. And first thing is, what are my options? Okay, so I know there's 20 first moves, and my question is, are they all playable? So I'm looking at the engine evaluation, and to me, if it's like the top of it looks like, and I'm looking at the evaluations here. It says 0.34, 0.26, 0.08, 0.17. I'm looking at them, and it says the best one is the top one, E4. That is plus 0.34. So I'm looking for the worst one. I see zeros. I see negative 27, negative 54, negative 36. So it looks like the weakest one, the worst move is G4 at negative 54. And so I'm trying to figure out, is G4 still playable? If G4 is still playable, then that means all the first moves are playable. So I'm gonna play G4 on a bot game. So in case you haven't seen this before, these are chess.com's bots. There's all kinds of levels. I'm going to put it on the hardest level. To do that, you go to where it says engine at the bottom when you scroll down to the bottom, and I'm putting it at 3200. I'm also putting this in assisted mode. That way I can play the computer moves, because I just want to see if I play the worst first move, can the computer still win or at least draw? And so I'm going to try it. So I'm playing G4. That's the worst move. And according to this, it's like according to 365chess.com, it was negative 0.54. Here it's negative 1.31. And I think anything over 1 point is unplayable. But we're going to see. Maybe it's still playable. Of course, you're probably not going to play like the engine, but um I just want to see. So it says H3 is the best move. And I'm just going to play until to see if we get a drawn advantage and then a winning advantage. And it's not moving, so let me go back. I'll play it again. take. So far, it's still a negative 1.2. It's over negative 1. So far, I think it's unplayable. But we'll see if in reality. Now, I think what the playing strength that I'm playing at with using the engine lines is around 3600. And this computer at maximum is only 3200. So it's not even. But I'm just trying to get an idea. See, now it's dropped to under a point. So I would consider this playable. Yeah, I already think this is playable. Um, like to get a draw against the maximum computer bot, I think is definitely playable. Means it's playable. I just kind of wanted to see if we could win. But probably, the way it's going, it could be a win. I'll go to move 20 and just see. Because it's going a little slow. Okay, yeah, well, I'm satisfied. It's playable. I don't need to see if it's a win. I'm guessing out of 10 games you'd probably win a few games. So I'm just going to resign. It answered my question. So G4, which is the worst move, is playable. You can get at least a draw if you played the best bot. and most likely your opponents will be less than that, unless it's basically you're set. Even probably to maybe, I don't know, maybe Grandmaster you got to worry, but if you play the best. Um, okay, so all the first moves are playable. Now the question is, how do I narrow down? Um, do I pick? Do I just pick the top 5? I have been thinking about this, and like I want to know a lot of openings, but I just want to. I also want to just select the few that I'm going to actually play with. So there's the openings that I want to know that I'm going to actually play with. That's my game plan that I'm trying to come up with. And there's also, I would like to have an idea of more than that. I'd like to have an idea of a lot of openings. That way, when I'm watching chess games, like in tournaments and stuff, when I'm watching them online or on TV, hopefully someday, then I have a clue of what's going on. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm looking at the amounts here, and if it's 100,000 games or more, like, and if you haven't seen this, this website, it displays the moves in the order of popularity. So E4 has been played 1.9 million times. D4 has been played 1.2 million times. Knight f3 has been played 335,000 times. C4 has been played 266,000 times. So I think if it's 100,000 games or more, I want to play. I want to be able to play with that. So, and I think if it's at least 1,000 games, I want to be aware of those openings. So I want to. I'm not going to play with those openings, but unless it's 100,000 or more. So I think I need to know those moves first. So that means I would like to be able to play with E4. I'd like to be able to play with D4. I'd like to be able to play with Knight F3, and I'd like to play with C4. So I think I'm going to bring up my notepad and I'm going to write that down. So I'm formulating a game plan. So I'm going to put 1 E4, 1 D4, 1 Knight F3, and 1 C4. I think having 4 options to start a game would be awesome. That way, if I'm playing the same opponent over and over, I can switch it up. Okay. So, let's see. But I think I would like to be able to know what the so I would play E4, for instance. So I'm going to click E4. So, okay. So these moves, C5, E5, E6, C6, they've been played over 100,000 times. So I would like to be able to play those moves myself. But if the other moves that are over 1,000, like D6, D5, G6, Knight F6, Knight C6, B6, and A6, I want to know how to play against them. I want to be aware of them, and I want to know what move to play against them. So I want to be ready for all those moves. I wouldn't play them myself, but I want to know what to do if black plays those moves. All right. So I have 2 game plans. I got the game plan, the moves I want to learn that I would play myself as white or black. So I would play C5, E5, E6, or C6 myself. And I like that I have 4 options. So again, if I'm playing the same opponent, I can switch it up. But if my opponent plays D6 on me, I want to know what move I should play. So, all right. Okay, so let me look at my notepad because I think I'm going to need 2 documents. I want to have, so this document is going to be for the openings that I want to be able to play myself. So let's see, e4, I'm going to put all the moves again after e4 where it's been played 100,000 times or more. So I'm looking here, and after e4 it says c5. So I want to know how to play c5, e5, e6, and c6. I'm trying to see if there's a better way to do this. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's just keep it simple because again, this is going to take a long time. So I want to have it in my brain what my game plan is. So and keep that simple, and then I'll learn one opening at a time. Because what I'm thinking is I want to know, again, like I said, I want to know all the moves that have been played 100,000 times or greater for myself that I'm going to play in a game. And I'm going to go 5 moves in depth. So I'm going to go to either it stops being 100,000 games or if it's the 5th move as white, I think. Maybe as black. Maybe I'll do both. But I'm trying to figure out how to take notes. So let's see, because this is it's gonna take quite a bit of room. So, all right. So okay, like I said, I'm gonna keep it simple. I think I'm gonna type all the 1e4s here. Okay. So those are all the e4s I want to learn to play myself. Now I'm going to do it for d4. So I'm going to click on d4. Okay, in d4 there's only 2 moves, knight f6 and d5. So let me write that down. One d4, knight f6, then one d4, d5. So that will be a little easier. And then let's do it for the first move, knight f3. So knight f3, there's only 1 move. It's close, there's almost 2 moves. But I'm going to stick to what I said. So the only move to know is knight f6. One, knight f3, knight f6. So again, if knight f3 ever gets played against me, the only move I'm going to play is knight f6. So far, that unless I change my mind, unless I count d5 as a second move because it's close to 100,000. We'll see. I think I'm going to keep it simple and just keep it with my game plan. So let's do it for c4. And c4 there's none. So, I may have to change my rule. Whoops. Whoops. It's commercial. Okay, so what am I gonna... I guess I'm gonna have to change my rule, and I'm gonna have to put knight f6 as the move I would play. Because I do want to know what to play against c4. So I guess it's going to be knight f6. I guess I have no choice. c4, knight f6. Still trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. So let's see. So let's go back to e4. Actually, let me save with what I got so far. I guess moves to play in a game. Can't think of a better title than that. Save. Okay. I'm trying to keep this simple, but it's... Alright, so the first one I got is e4, c5. So let's go to e4 and c5. So again, if it's 100,000 moves or more, I would actually play this in a game. Okay, and luckily there's only one. So knight f3. So 2 knight f3. Trying to think. Well, let's go to the next one. Whoops, I don't know why I used that. Okay. So e4, e5, let's see how many options there are. Just one option. I was thinking there'd be more options besides just one. But let's stick with the game plan. Because I was hoping to come up with openings of the first 5 moves, and I thought some of them would be in the 100,000s. Alright, so... But I definitely want to know the ones that are in the 100,000s. So for e4, e5, it's knight f3. That's the only move. And let's... Let's see, e4, e6. e4, e6, there's just one, it's d4. Sorry, 2 d4. And then e4 c6. That's d4. So 2 d4. So each of them only had only had one move each for the second move. So e4 c5 knight f3, I would play that with either white or black. e4 e5 knight f3, I would play with either white or black. e4 e6 d4, I would play with white or black. And e4 c6 d4, I would play with white or black. All right, let's do d4 now. Those are all the e4 opening ones. So d4, there was two moves. So with knight f6, let's see how many. Okay, there's two moves. c4 and knight f3. So for d4, knight f6, there's two c4 and two knight f3. And for d5, d4, d5, there's one, and that's c4. So 2 c4. And then we'll do it for knight f3. Knight f3, there was knight f6. Let's see. And there are no moves that are in the 100,000s. Alright, so let me check the last one and then we'll see what the next step of the plan is. So let's just make sure for c4, I'm guessing there'll be no moves in the 100,000s. Let's see, so c4, and we picked knight f6. Because I gotta decide. Alright, so I think I need a new document, and now it's gonna be all the moves I want to be prepared against. And for that mode, I think I want to choose. I'd like to choose all the moves that are in at least 1,000 games or higher, but I'm debating either that or 10,000 or higher because there's a lot of moves. And again, I'm already feeling how long this is going to take. So, but I'm going to stick with it, and I'm going to take it slow, and just try to figure out the next step of the plan, and try not to rush. And if you have any tips or anything, you can tell me in the comments. So let's go back to e4. Okay, so I think I'm going to open a new document. Alright, so these are the moves that I need to know that I'm going to play with as white or black. The next ones, this is where it gets tough. So I guess I'll start with what I'll play with as white. And I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible. I wanted to do the first 5 moves in every line, but I think that's way too much. So I'm just going to do the next move in every line. So let's do a new one. And I'm going to be shifting back and forth between these. So I'm just going to have to remember. Let's see. Let's just save as. Moves I play as white. Save. So again, the first is e4. Yeah, the first is e4. Okay. 1 e4. And I'm going to put all the moves where there's at least 1,000. It seems like a lot, but that's what I'm going to do. It was either 1,000 or 10,000, but I think I need to do 1,000. So 1 e4 c5, 1 e4 e5, 1 e4 e6, 1 e4 c6, 1 e4 d6, 1 e4 d5, 1 e4 g6, 1 e4 knight f6, 1 e4 knight c6, 1 e4 b6, and 1 a4 a6. Okay. So all the moves that I want to know against e4. I won't necessarily play these moves, but I want to, in case my opponent plays them, I want to know what to do. Alright. So that was 1 e4. The next is 1 d4. And let's see. All right. So against 1d4, I want to know what to play against knight f6, d5, 1d4, e6, 1d4, f5, 1d4, g6, 1d4, c5, 1d4, c6, 1d4, knight c6, 1d4, b6, 1d4, e5, 1d4, b5. Okay. That's for d4. Next one is knight f3. All right. So against one knight f3, there's, oops, knight f6, d5, c5, g6, f5, after f5 is d6, e6, knight c6, see, we got knight c6, and we got b6. All right, so that's it for one knight f3. The last one is one c4. All right. For one c4, there's knight f6, e5, e6, c5, g6, c6, see, after c6, there's f5, b6, d6, and after d6, it's knight c6. Okay, and that's all the moves I want to be able to play against, that I want to be prepared to play against when I'm playing white. Save. I think what I'm going to do before I answer the question of all those is I'm going to open another document, and I'm going to do one moves that I play as black. See, moves I play as white, and moves I play as black. Save. All right. All right. So I'm going to do the same thing. Moves I play that I want to be prepared to play against as black. So I'm going to do all the moves that have at least 1,000 games. And I want to know what to do as black. So one E4, one D4, one knight F3, one C4, one G3, one F4, one B3, one knight C3, one B4, one E3, one D3, one, and one A3. So I want to be prepared of what to play again. Play with against all those moves. All right, so I think I'll go back to what I play as white. And I'm going to answer the question. What do I play against E4, C5? So E4, C5. I guess to keep it simple, I better stick with the best moves for now. So I'm going to play knight F3. I think I'm going to put this over here. See if that doesn't confuse me. Okay, so 2 knight F3. Make sure I saved. All right. So what do I play against E4, E5? I guess it's knight F3 as well. Wait, let me just take a look at my moves I play at both sides. So E4, c5, knight f3, e5, knight f3, e6, knight d4, e4, c6. Luckily, there was only one move that I play as black, I think. Or, no, there was 1, 2, 3. There was 4 moves I play with as black against e4. There was 2 I play against d4. So, alright, now, what does that mean that I'm doing here? Alright, so e4, e6. It's d4. d4. Against e4, c6. Play d4. Against e4, d6. So against d6, I do d4. I'm kind of debating whether I should do all this while I'm recording or if I should do this off stream. But I mean, this gives you guys a chance to take take notes as well. So I guess I'll do this on screen. Um, yeah, I guess I'll just keep doing it. E4, D5. But this is definitely a point in the video where, I mean, you can either, I don't know, you can do what you want. You can skip this part or write it down, same as I'm doing. Because you can definitely do this yourself. Let's see. So E4, D5. So against D5, play E takes D5. Takes D5. Against G6, I'll play D4. Against Knight F6. I'll play E5. Against Knight C6. Play Knight F3. against b6. Play d4. And against a6, play d4. That's it for the e4s. Just save that. We'll go to the d4s. And the first one is knight f6. Against that, I'll play c4. Again, I may do more lists in the future about all the openings I want to be aware of, that I want to know, but this is for the openings that I would play in an actual game. So, because part of me wants to put down knight f3 as well, since it's been seen 100,000 times, but I'm not going to for this list. I'm just going to stick with what response I would play if I was playing this in a game. Alright, so the next one is what I would play against d5. That's c4. e6. Against e6, it's c4. Against f5. It's g3. Trying to speed this up, but man, every time I dive into openings, it just makes me realize it's a slow process, and that's just the way it is. And you got to be tough and just accept that it's going to be a slow process, and that you learn things better if you do it slowly. All right, so next move is d4, g6, and that's c4. Like, all my instincts are telling me to rush, but unfortunately that's just not the way it is. So against c5, like, you got to do things the right way. I could take shortcuts and do less openings, but I feel that's not what I want. Like, I want to know a good variety of openings, at least the first few moves. So against c6, it's c4. Against knight c6. It's knight f3. Like, I do my best to try to keep the boring parts of a video out of the video, but sometimes I just can't help it. Let's see, d4, b6. Against b6. Looks like the best move is e4. Against e5. It's d takes e5. And against b5. It's 2e4. Alright, that's it for d4. Let's just save. We'll do the same thing for knight f3. Alright, so knight f3. Still quite a bit. Let's see. Against knight f6. It's c4. Against d5. It's g3. Against c5. It's c4. Against g6. It's d4. Against f5. It's g3. Against d6. It's d4. Against e6. It's c4. Against knight c6, it's d4. And against b6, it's g3. Alright, so that's it for knight f3. We'll do c4. First one is knight f6. That's knight c3. And e5 is knight c3 again. Next is e6. Against e6, it's also knight c3. Next is c5. It's also knight c3. And there's g6. g6, it's also knight c3. Next one is c6. That's knight f3. Next is f5. It's knight c3. Next is b6. Which is knight c3. Next is d6, which is knight c3. And then knight c6 is the last one for c4. That's knight c3. Then I just, let's see. Now I just want to do it for what I play as black. So what I play as black, I would like to be able to play all the moves that have at least 100,000. At least for the first move. Maybe not for the second move, but for the first move. Just enough to steer the game in a different direction if my opponent keeps playing the same first move. Alright, so 1 e4 c5, 1 e4 e5, 1 e4 e6, 1 e4 c6. So that's I want to be able to play all these as black. Okay. And let's do d4 next. So against d4, I want to be able to play knight f6 and d5. But I think for the rest of them, I just want to know one move. Because e4 and d4 are played most of the time, so that's why I want to know different moves. But against the rest, I just want to know one move. So against one knight f3, I want to know knight f6. Against c4, let's see. I guess I want to know knight f6. Against g3, I want to know d5. Against f4, I want to know d5. Against b3, I want to know e5. Against knight c3, let's see. Against knight c3, I want to know d5. Next is b4. Against b4, I want to know e5. Against e3, I want to know e5. Against d3, I want to know d5. And against a3, I want to know d5. And I'll save. All right, so we learned that all the first moves are playable. We decided on a game plan so far that I started a game plan about the moves I want to be able to play with as white or black, and then I have a note. I have a spreadsheet or a worksheet that tells me what moves I want to play as white, and and then I have one about what moves I want to play as black. So far, it's just the first 2-3 moves, but there's a lot of them. So I'm going to try to memorize them, and I don't, or at least try to get them in my head a little bit. I really don't see how there's so many, even though this is just a small amount of what's out there and what's to come. But I'm going to try to learn them, and then hopefully come up with the next part of the plan, and then be back to do more. I would like I want to I want to have openings of the first 5 moves. That's what I would like. I don't know, like I still need to figure out the game plan of how I'm going to learn the openings I've already got down right here in my notepad. So I'm going to try to think of what to do, and who knows, I may just come back on and play around to try to think of how I want to learn these openings, what ones to learn first, and how to organize it onto a worksheet. But that's it for now. I hope you got something out of this. I hope you got some sort of a game plan out of this. If you have a better one, tell me in the comments of what I should do differently, or or tell me whatever you like. So that's it for now, and I hope you have a great one. Bye.